China Grand Prix, once the home race of Joe Guanyu, one of my favorite tracks, and where Ferrari gave us the formidable double disqualification, an absolute peak entertainment race. But we are not here to talk about the last year China Grand Prix, we all know how that ended up. We are here to talk about the 2026 China Grand Prix. In this video I am going to cover the practice, sprint qualify, sprint race, race qualify and the actual race in the most chaotic, stupid and idiotic way possible. So, grab your favorite drink, take something to eat, grab your mate's ass for a good time and let's dive in the chaotic first Duracell battery simulator on 4 wheels. Because of the new FIA regulations, or what I like to call it, fully incompetent authorities, the last 2 races were more like a competition of who will make love to the gravel trap first. Fortunately for Colapinto, he didn't make love with the gravel trap, but spin in the first 2 minutes of the practice at turn 9. After that, Norris and Hamilton tried to kill each other. Norris locked up and almost sent Hamilton into the gravel trap. Questionable moves from both of them, I might say. After Norris and Hamilton fought like divorced parents, Lewis Hamilton's flaps remained open for a second when braking and sent him into a massive spin, heading into the runoff area at turn 6. Our only rookie, Arvin Lindbland's ass was fire. No, literally, his ass was smoking, forcing him to retire the car. An average rookie season for the Red Bull seat, I might say. Both McLaren's and Bortoleto cars snapped in the same first corner.
Oscar, both cars have had that snap quite regularly.
At one point, Colapinto decided it was a good time to troll the whole team and let them run for him. While Arvin's ass was smoking, Franco was making his mechanics sweat, leading the team to run like they were chasing a bus. And they did all that just for Colapinto to finally decide he played enough tag and actually pulled into his box by himself. I mean, at the end of the day he's driving an Alpine though, so understandable. Going back at Ferrari, Leclerc decided that he had enough torch in F1 and had to hop on dirt rally.
Medium left, medium left! Listen to my calls!
Meanwhile, the bear learned from his mentor that you should spin to warm the tires. And with this wrapping up the practice, let's head to the wonderful sprint qualify. SQ1 was pretty boring as everybody was setting their times as usual, until Bortoleto's Audi forgot it was supposed to turn and took a trip to the gravel. Oliver Behrman was too aggressive with his Haas, and the sheer freedom and democracy that car holds through its engine made him bottle the lap. Pierre Gasly somehow outqualified both Red Bulls, and Colapinto knocked out our favorite Chile man out of SQ1. And let's not forget about Alonso, who was eliminated in SQ1. I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man. And with this, we get both Williams, Aston Martin and Cadillac out in SQ1. In the second part of qualify, both McLarens left their boxes first, dragging half the grid with them, and immediately forming a line like your average 2 AM McDonald's drive-thru experience. After everybody got their Big Macs, Oliver Behrman ran wide again. Max took provisionally pole, which made all the depressed Max fans suddenly scream, "Oh my god, Max Verstappen is so bad, baby!" And all that just for literally 1 minute and 29 seconds later to watch his lap time get absolutely violated by Sir Lewis Hamilton, Bartholomew Norris, Oscar Piastri Leclerc, Charles Leclerc, Max's adopted son, and Osama bin Russell. Max just experienced the Ferrari cycle, from he's so back to it's so over in 1 lap. After that, Kimi turned into a roadblock, stopping Lando's allegedly fast lap, which was noted. But guess what? For the second time, Gasly outqualified both Red Bulls, alongside Berman, almost knocking them out of SQ2.
I'll walk out of this arena.
And after almost getting knocked out of SQ2 in the final laps, Max was blocked by one of the Alpines, and as his gamer rage was filling up, he absolutely fumbled the last turn, turning his car into an expensive gravel lawnmower. So, with the end of the second qualifier session, the total of 10 Alpine fans were depressed and happy at the same time. Both Audi and Visa Kesha Parby failed, and Esteban Ocon, aka Fernando Alonso's worst nightmare, achieved the 5th time he couldn't qualify in the top 10. And now going to the last qualify session, this was basically a battle between Antonelli and Russell, while half the grid decided to risk it all and go for one fast lap, which for some of them had great results, and for some of them had not so great results. As expected though, it's a Mercedes 1-2 front row with George Russell on pole and Toto giving us this very memeable face. Meanwhile, the two McLarens split the two Ferraris like jealous girlfriends. But wait! What do my eyes see? Gasly outqualified both Red Bulls! Again! So, before any of the Max fans will pinpoint me and strike me down, let's move on with the sprint race. Sprint race, baby, lights are green and all the drivers go! Except Antonelli, who still didn't figure it out how to start the car. Norris surprisingly didn't bottle the start, but that car is no faster than your average Honda Civic, so he ends up on 4 very fast. Piastri tried his best, goes wide and lost the position to Leclerc, and as all the drivers scramble for positions, where Antonelli kissed Hadjar's sidepod like prime George fumble, but he didn't give up and actually made a beautiful overtake on Piastri. He got back the position immediately though because his battery was low, but it was still beautiful. After we got the Italy declaring war on France, we get the British Civil War, where Lewis is fighting George, Dutch Great Depression, where Verstappen struggling in midfield. You know it's bad when Max enjoys more driving in GT3 instead of F1. And on top of that, Ferrari Civil War, in my opinion the most entertaining part of the whole sprint. Lewis and Leclerc gave McLaren a lesson in what teammate rivalries should look like. Arvid Lindblad was forced to retire the car, same for Bottas. Max locks up and goes wide, but in the meantime Hülkenberg car farted and died, leading to a safety car. So most of the teams were running for soft tires. The placements look like this after a chaotic pit session when Antonelli brutally edged Piastri for the position. Sainz almost made love with Ocon's ass. And as the safety car leaves, Russell keeps the lead. Ferrari tried their best, Papai is absolute shit, and Antonelli was hunting all that race for the podium. Overall, good sprint. Let's go to the qualify. This qualify session was so boring. In Q1, Verstappen finally sets a good lap, both Williams are out again, and looking at the elimination zone we're starting to see a pattern, with Alonso crashing my dreams yet again. At least Bortoleto had an incredible lap, but right after that, in Q2, he went for a flying lap, quite literally. Gasly is popping off this weekend, out qualifying both Red Bulls again. You honestly cannot make this stuff up. As for McLaren, Papa, it's a mess. At the start of Q3, Russell stopped early, reporting car problems. Antonelli took advantage and secured provisionally pole. As everyone else at their times, George finally managed to get out on track with only one lap left. He pushed that German machinery to the limit, but couldn't beat the time. This means Kimi Antonelli is the youngest pole sitter in F1 history, at just 19 years old, surpassing Sebastian Vettel's record for the youngest pole sitter at 21 years old and 72 days. If this is not future world champion material, I don't know what it is. After an insane weekend, we finally stare at the lights of the China Grand Prix, so with everyone lined up, it's lights out and away we go. The two Ferraris had a great start, both gaining a position. Max lost 6 positions because that Red Bull is a tractor with a Red Bull livery. Sergio Perez showcased his Chinese F4 skills, while Hadjar and Berman almost killed each other, only for Hadjar to spin one turn later. At the front, it was pure Mercedes versus Ferrari battle after Stroll's car successfully failed to perform. Not that the car is the only problem there anyway. The safety car was called, so the top 4 instantly pitted, but who was right behind them? The Alpines! This whole weekend they drove like prime Renault. This team is finally making me happy and not clinically insane.
Like all of a sudden I'd be trying to prove that I'm not crazy when I knew I wasn't crazy.
Right.
Once the safety car was out, Colapinto defended with all his might and whatever grip he had left on those tires. Honestly, it was way more entertaining watching the midfield fight instead of the top 4. We had Haas and Alpine throwing hands at each other, while Verstappen tried his absolute best just to get past Gasly. Then, right after the Haas vs Alpine fight, we get the Ferrari battle. I would bet my right and left nut that Fred Vasseur was having a full-blown heart attack on the pit wall with severe flashbacks from last year. And because the F1 gods hate me, Ocon remembers that he once was an Alpine driver, so he goes for a gap that didn't exist, making love with Colapinto's rear left tire. At least he apologized after, but 2 laps later, Alonso retires the car. The deadass don't want me to be happy. At one point, we finally hear a Ferrari driver being happy. Charles said, "This is actually quite a fun battle." I think I can speak for every Ferrari fan out there. God damn, we used to pray for times like this. And after Antonelli kept the lead of the whole race, like a true winner, he almost bottled it on lap 53. He regained his composure though, and after 3 more laps, Andrea Kimi Antonelli gets his first ever win in Formula 1. And after a very depressing last year performance, finally Lewis Hamilton gets a podium for Ferrari. It may not be a win, but it's a podium. That's an improvement. But you might be wondering, why didn't I say anything about McLaren? Where were they in this race? Well, everybody, they forgot to update their Windows 10 to 11, so their system fucking crashed on them, forcing both drivers to retire the cars. Before the race even started, McLaren once again showcasing their true midfield DNA. So overall, this weekend in my opinion was better than last year. We had Alpine Masterclass against Haas, the Ferrari battle, Kimi's first win showcasing his skills, and Perez driving like a torpedo. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Max retired the car. But remember, 10 seconds penalty for Ocon. Inappropriate gardening technique.